December 6th, 1991. It's Austin, Texas. Inside a yogurt shop, 4 teenage girls were closing for the night. By morning, the shop was in flames inside. Firefighters found their bound and burned bodies. For girls, one night, no answers. For more than 30 years, this case has haunted Austin. And today, new evidence may finally bring the truth to light. This is the Yogurt Shop Murders. Don't miss the next mystery. Subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the truth. Friday night in Austin carried its usual hum. Traffic rolling past neon signs, Christmas lights glowing from shop windows. At the end of Anderson Lane, a small frozen yogurt shop prepared to close. Inside were 4 girls. Jennifer Harbison, 17, her younger sister Sarah, 15, their friend Eliza Thomas, also 17, and 13-year-old Amy Ayers would come along for a sleepover. They stacked chairs, cleaned counters, and teased each other as the clock neared midnight. For them, it was an ordinary night. For Austin, it would become a date seared into memory. By the time the lights of the shop blinked off, something unthinkable was already set in motion. Within hours, that cheerful yogurt shop would transform into one of the darkest crime scenes Texas had ever witnessed. Just after midnight, a call jolted the fire department, smoke pouring from the yogurt shop. Engines roared toward the strip mall, red lights flashing across quiet neighborhoods. Firefighters forced their way in, battling thick smoke and spreading. Flames. At first it looked routine, a shop fire, nothing more. Then came the discovery. On the floor, beneath charred debris, lay 4 young bodies. They had been bound, gagged, shot, and burned. The fire was not an accident. It was a cover-up. Even hardened firefighters stepped back, shaken. What they saw that night would haunt them forever. By dawn, police sealed off the site. Reporters arrived, cameras flashing against smoke-blackened glass. The city of Austin awoke to a horror it could not yet understand. In the news, they became the yogurt shop victims. But before that, they were daughters, sisters, friends. Jennifer Harbison, ambitious. Focused, planning to study veterinary medicine. Sarah, bright, fun-loving, always smiling. Eliza Thomas, dependable, soft-spoken, preparing for graduation. Amy Ayers, just 13, too young to be working, but excited to spend the evening with her friends. The photographs used by television stations were simple school portraits. Smiling faces framed by somber anchors' voices. Yet those images hit Austin like a gut punch. These weren't faceless statistics. These were local girls, kids the community knew. Vigils appeared almost instantly. Candles flickered outside the strip mall. Flowers and handwritten notes piled. Against the locked glass doors, classmates left roses in lockers. Parents clutched their own children a little tighter. Austin PD launched what became the city's largest investigation. Detectives sifted through the burned wreckage. The fire had destroyed much, but not everything. 2 different calibers of bullets suggested more than one weapon. The girls' own clothing had been used as bindings. And though DNA traces existed, the technology of 1991 was far too primitive to unlock them fully. Police knocked on doors, traced the girls' final hours, and interviewed anyone who had been near the strip mall that night. They asked, was it robbery? A random act? Or something targeted? Every answer only led to more questions. Leads surfaced, then evaporated. Witnesses contradicted each other. Evidence was muddied by the fire. It was clear. Solving this crime would not be simple. The yogurt shop closed forever, its windows blackened, sealed with tape. But people still gathered outside, staring at the crime scene as if it might give them answers. Talk radio buzzed with callers trading rumors, cult activity, serial killers, gang initiations. Theories filled the void left by silence. Meanwhile, police could only reassure the public that they were working every possible lead. Austin's identity shifted overnight. Known for its music and university life, was suddenly home to one of America's most haunting, unsolved crimes. For the families, grief turned into a lifetime of waiting. For the city, fear lingered long after the smoke cleared. One thing was certain: Austin would never be the same. Sirens sliced through the silence of Austin's streets as police cars darted across intersections. Officers were confused. Reports of explosions came in from multiple neighborhoods, but there was no pattern. At first, authorities thought it might be gas leaks. But then, bomb technicians found nails, wires, and battery packs in the rubble. This wasn't an accident. Someone had planted these devices with precision. Local news anchors struggled to keep up, their voices tight with fear. "This is deliberate," one reporter whispered live on air. That realization sent a chill through the city. Austin wasn't facing a freak accident, it was under attack. For residents, the city changed overnight. Mailboxes that once carried birthday cards and bills became objects of suspicion. Parents warned their children not to touch packages left on porches. Neighbors eyed every unfamiliar car and stranger. Walking down the street in East Austin, a mother admitted she hadn't let her kids outside in a week. Grocery deliveries went untouched, sitting on porches until police could check them. It felt like a war zone, one resident later said. Normal life had been replaced by paranoia. Every sound, a pop, a bang, even fireworks, made people jump. Behind the scenes, federal agents swarmed into Austin. The FBI and ATF built a command center, walls covered in maps and timelines. Profilers debated who the bomber might be. Is this terrorism, a gang war, or a single madman? The devices were crude, but effective. Homemade with parts bought from everyday hardware stores. Whoever this was, he blended into the crowd. No fingerprints, no DNA, no cameras caught him. He was a ghost, striking at random. Agents knew one thing: he was learning, adapting, and watching the chaos he created. By mid-March, 3 people were dead, and dozens more were injured. Each attack was worse than the last. A 17-year-old boy was killed when he picked up a package on his doorstep. His mother, standing nearby, was critically injured. In another case, 2 men riding bicycles tripped a tripwire bomb hidden along a quiet suburban street. Explosions ripped through the silence of otherwise ordinary nights. Funerals were held in hushed churches. Entire communities mourned. Austin's heart was breaking and no one felt safe. Each victim reminded the city that this attacker was not slowing down. As March dragged on, Austin lived in survival mode. Schools considered canceling classes. Music festivals like SXSW, normally a symbol of life and energy in the city, were overshadowed by fear. Police hotlines lit up with false alarms, suspicious bags, abandoned boxes, forgotten backpacks. Every call had to be treated as deadly serious. The city had become paralyzed. And somewhere the bomber was out there watching his city crumble, feeding off the fear he had unleashed. The question was no longer if he would strike again, but when. Midnight in Austin's Riverside district. What was once a lively neighborhood of music bars and food trucks now feels like a ghost town. Streetlights flicker, shadows stretch unnaturally, and the wind carries a low hum that locals swear doesn't come from cars or wires. It feels alive. Police patrols report an eerie pattern when they drive through certain blocks. Their radios cut out for exactly 60 seconds, then return with no explanation. No interference, no signal issues, just silence. Residents stop going out at night. It's like the streets themselves are watching, says a woman who's lived here for 30 years. Her voice trembles as though saying it out loud makes the shadows listen. By now, rumors spread faster than fact. Some say it's a gang-marking territory with unseen tech. Others whisper about something ancient beneath the city, a presence that doesn't want to be disturbed. The fear isn't in the crime anymore. The fear is in the silence itself. Detectives finally catch a break. A witness claims he saw the missing college student the night she disappeared. He's a bartender, young, nervous, with eyes darting to every corner of the room as he speaks. She was walking down East 5th Street. I swear I saw someone following her, a man in a dark hoodie. But when I looked again, she was gone. The detective leans closer. Gone where? Into a car? Into an alley? The bartender shakes his head. No, you don't get it. Shh. Just gone, like the street swallowed her. The next morning, police attempt to re-question him, but he never shows up for work. His apartment is empty, coffee still warm on the counter, front door unlocked, no signs of struggle, 2 vanishings. Linked by one location, East 5th Street isn't just a crime scene. It's becoming a black hole. Inside Austin PD's records room, Detective Alvarez digs through old city maps. Something isn't adding up. Compares old zoning blueprints from the 1970s with the current layout of Riverside and East 5th, and then he sees it. Whole blocks. Missing. Streets that once existed are simply gone from the official records. One alley, marked in 3 separate maps from the past decades, has been completely erased from city files after 2001. This isn't an oversight, Alvarez mutters. Someone wanted these streets forgotten, but why and how? Some alleys now appear as dead ends. Others are replaced by parking lots or new apartment complexes. Yet residents swear they remember walking those streets just years ago. When the detective presses City Hall for answers, he's met with stone-cold silence. "Stop digging," warns an anonymous caller that night. Some streets aren't meant to be found. A student journalist uploads a shaky cell phone video that sends Austin into chaos. The footage, filmed near the abandoned rail underpass, shows a young woman walking alone at night. For the first 30 seconds, nothing unusual. But then, faintly, a figure appears in the background, not walking, gliding. The girl doesn't notice. The cameraman whispers, "Who is that?" Suddenly, the girl looks around, confused, as though the street behind her has changed. The streetlights flicker, and then she vanishes from the frame. The cameraman curses, running toward where she stood. The video cuts to black when police trace the upload location. They find the phone, smashed on the ground. No owner, no body, just static still playing on the device like it refused to die. Within hours, the video disappears from every platform. Taken down, flagged, wiped clean. But copies remain, whispered through back channels, each one fueling the terror. By now, the city is split in two. Those who refuse to believe, and those who refuse to leave their homes after sunset. On a stormy night, Alvarez receives a package at his doorstep, no return address. Inside, a single VHS tape labeled, "The Streets Remember." He plays it. The footage is grainy, but clear enough. A shaky tour through dark Austin alleys. Each turn looks unfamiliar, as if the cameraman is inside a version of the city no map has ever shown. Doors appear where walls should be. Street signs twist into names that don't exist. At the end of the tape, a voice whispers, "Stop searching, detective, because the streets have already found you." The screen cuts to static. Alvarez freezes. Behind him, through the window, he sees a figure standing under the flickering streetlight across the road, watching. Austin was no longer the same city. Patrol cars roamed the streets at all hours, lights flashing like a constant reminder of the fear. Neighbors whispered at fences, sharing half-truths and rumors. He was seen near the river. He works downtown. The Midnight Ripper wasn't just a killer anymore. He was an urban legend growing in real time. Detectives pored over maps covered in pins and strings, each red dot another victim. A sickening realization hit. He wasn't hunting randomly, there was a twisted pattern. But every time they thought they understood it, another victim fell outside the prediction. It was as if he was listening, laughing, one step ahead. Then came the first letter. Delivered not to the police, but slipped beneath the door of a newspaper office. The handwriting was jagged, almost frantic, the words chilling. "You'll never stop me. City belongs to me after midnight." Reporters debated if it was real or a hoax, but detectives knew the details inside weren't public. Panic doubled overnight. The Ripper wasn't just killing, he was taunting, branding himself as a ghost who owned the darkness. Officers scanned every mailroom, every postman, but the trail was cold. And yet, to the killer, it was a game. He wanted the world to watch. By the summer of 1885, Austin transformed into a fortress. The mayor imposed curfews. Families barricaded doors with furniture.
Ow.
Men volunteered to patrol their own neighborhoods, armed with lanterns and shotguns. Streets that once rang with music, and laughter now echoed with silence. Fear hung heavy in the air. Even the saloons, once buzzing havens, emptied out before midnight. But beneath the surface, tension grew. Some accused the police of incompetence. Others whispered that the killer had to be a respected man, hidden in plain sight. A doctor? A politician? Maybe even a cop? Suspicion poisoned trust, and Austin began to turn on itself. One night, a woman stumbled into the sheriff's office, her clothes torn, face pale with terror. She claimed she had been attacked but managed to escape when her screams scared the figure off. Greb. Her description was vague. A tall man, broad shoulders, moving with animal-like speed. But one detail gripped investigators. She swore she heard him humming, a low, chilling tune as he struck. For detectives, it was the first fragile thread of humanity in the monster they were chasing. But it also meant something more terrifying. The Ripper wasn't just killing, he was enjoying it. Desperation drove the police to action. Suspect was arrested, paraded in front of the press, a drifter with a violent past. The city exhaled, believing it was over. But before the ink on the headlines dried, another body was found. Same brutality, same signature. The Ripper was free. The wrong man had been dragged into the spotlight, while the real killer vanished back into the night. Austin's fragile hope collapsed. And the Ripper, somewhere in the dark, must have smiled. The courtroom was a stage of silence, every breath held as if the city itself was listening. Prosecutors presented their case, a tapestry of witness statements, forensic evidence, and haunting audio recordings that echoed through the chamber. The defense countered, painting doubt, claiming coincidences and mishandled files. Yet it wasn't just the facts that weighed heavy, it was the atmosphere. Journalists filled every bench, their pens scratching down history. Family members of the victims sat in trembling rows, holding photos that blurred from tears. The accused sat still, face unreadable, like stone carved from shadow. When the verdict came, it didn't feel like closure. Yes, guilty. Life in prison. But what whispers remained? Were there others involved? Was someone still out there, walking the same streets? The people of Austin didn't applaud. They only lowered their heads, carrying a verdict that felt less like justice and more like survival. Even after the conviction, the city couldn't sleep. Rumors spread like wildfire through downtown bars and late-night diners. Some swore they saw shadowy figures following them. Others claimed to hear faint screams echoing near the abandoned a train yard, where one of the victims was last seen. Police dismissed these stories as paranoia. They couldn't silence the growing unease. Patrols increased. Apartment windows stayed locked. Entire neighborhoods lived with their backs against the wall. Local radio hosts debated endlessly, was this truly over? Or was the convicted man just a scapegoat, sacrificed to calm a restless public? In alleyways, graffiti bloomed like warnings. The streets are watching. Austin wasn't healing, it was haunted. And in that haunting, people began to believe. Something darker had taken root, something the trial had never touched. Months later, Daniel Cross returned to Archer Street, the very place where his investigation had first taken root. The neighborhood looked normal on the surface. Cars parked neatly, streetlights humming. But to Daniel, it felt like a stage where the actors had long fled. He walked past boarded-up shops, past the alley where he first discovered the strange symbols sprayed in black paint. New layers of graffiti now covered them, but faint outlines remained beneath, stubborn and sinister. He paused in the middle of the road. His recorder, the same one that had captured cries in the dark, felt heavy in his hand. He pressed play, static. Then, faintly, as if the walls themselves remembered, a single whisper, "It's not over." Daniel felt the cold return. Archer Street wasn't just geography. It was a wound in the city. And like all wounds, it carried infection. Austin changed forever. Nightlife dimmed, festivals grew smaller, and tourists avoided certain districts. Locals shared unspoken rules. Don't walk alone after dark. Avoid alleys without cameras, and never ever linger on Archer Street. But more than routines, it was trust that had died. Trust in safety, trust in strangers, even trust in the justice system. Parents warned their children with hushed intensity, not out of paranoia, but out of memory. Universities taught criminology, students using the case as a modern cautionary tale. True crime podcasters dissected every timeline, every police misstep. And for years, detectives quietly reopened cold files that smelled of the same pattern. The city became a mosaic of fear and resilience. People survived, but they survived differently. Shadows stretched longer, and silence spoke louder. Years later, Daniel Cross sat at his desk, the glow of his computer washing over stacks of files. His story had gone global. Viewers across the world debated the Austin case, dissecting theories, speculating on the unknowns. But Daniel never felt satisfaction, because for him the ending was not an ending. He knew too many details never made it to court. Too many nights still echoed unanswered. He leaned back in his chair, pressing record once more. His voice steady, heavy with the weight of years. Some mysteries end with answers. Others end at all. Austin thought it could bury the darkness, but the streets remember, and so do I. The recording light blinked in the silence, red as blood. Outside, in the distance, a siren wailed, rising, falling, vanishing into the night. For innocent lives, a city still haunted, and a case that refuses to rest. But now the question is yours. Do you think the yogurt shop murders will ever be solved? Or will this remain one of America's darkest, unsolved mysteries? Forever. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.